Right.
Hi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Indiana session today. My name is Hani, and I am the Education USA advisor at the Fulbright Commission in Prague. And today I've got two special guests, one Fulbright grantee, Janet, and her husband, Brad. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today and taking us to Indiana.
Yes.
Hello, hello. We're really excited.
Awesome. So, yeah, we can dive into that, and the floor is yours.
All right. Well, we're really excited to share with you what we're learning and what we know about Indiana. I grew up in Indiana. I grew up in southern Indiana in a tiny town called Stendal, Indiana, with
Mhm.
200 people. And Brad, my
I grew
husband,
up I grew up in northern Indiana, all the way at the
Mhm.
other end in a town called Mishawaka, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
And that is an indigenous name. And we grew up thinking that was a princess, Princess Mishawaka, who was a Native American, and
Mhm.
that she had been wanting to marry Potawatomi, but Chief Elkhart didn't like it, so that she was killed and was a martyr. And then we found out when I got older, we did plays and we had so many fun things about it. And then we found out none of it was true, all made up. So
But it sounds amazing, so
it
I'm
was
really
amazing.
excited. Yeah.
so my town is a German Lutheran settlement
Mhm.
and very small, kind of far away from other things. But there are a lot of institutions and universities throughout Indiana that give
Mhm.
access to small towns and larger cities and such. So I guess we can get on.
Mine Belgian. Lots of
Oh yes, that's
Belgians.
right.
So we
Oh.
celebrate Dingus Day, they call it. I don't know why, if that's Belgian, but that's what we
But
do.
a lot of Polish and
A lot of Polish
Ukrainian
and Ukrainian there
Mhm.
too.
immigrants.
Yeah, a lot of immigrants from
Yeah,
Poland and my grandma was Italian, so
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
from Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Such a melting pot.
Yes. All right.
How do we get to the next slide?
How do we get you push enter?
Um,
Don't you push enter?
I think we are still on the, oh no,
There it
we are
is,
there.
the second
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, all
slide.
right. We've got a weird setup here. So, okay, well, with Indiana highlights, we have just a few
Mhm.
things that we thought you might be interested in. Of course,
Mhm.
the capital city is right in the center of Indiana's a long state. We'll show you kind of a picture of it in a moment,
Mhm.
as you saw on the first slide too. But Indianapolis is the capital city,
Mhm.
right in the center of it.
Known for, you may know, one of the biggest races in the world, the Indianapolis 500 motor race every year.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's in the vein of like what do they call Formula One and stuff like that. It's one of the biggest
Okay.
races in the world.
And I have a picture of that coming up. So,
Yes. Oh, well, good.
and
Nice. Mhm.
population is 6.8 million people, according to the most recent census. The
Mhm.
median household income is $58,000, and
Mhm.
other things, probably 2,900 households
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
the country. Just some kind of
Mhm.
overarching highlights. But what we're known for is probably
Mhm.
where it's really exciting. Um, we have a great love for basketball. The movie
Mhm.
Hoosiers
Mhm.
was a movie that really made Indiana basketball
Have you
famous.
ever heard of the movie Hoosiers?
I haven't, but I'm not a
Oh,
big
of course
sports
not. Well, because
person.
it's a very United States thing, but it's a movie
Mhm.
about a basketball coach. And what's
Mhm.
funny is it was huge all over the country, and the guy who it was based on was my
Uh-huh.
high school counselor.
Wow, that's
Yes, so
amazing.
yes, and now they made up most of the story. The only thing that was true in the movie was that
Uh-huh.
his little bitty high school of maybe 400 people in 1953 won the state championship basketball tournament, and
Uh-huh.
they beat schools that had 5,000 people. I mean, because in Indiana, the little schools play the big schools in
Mhm.
basketball, and
Mhm.
Marvin Wood was his name. And then in the movie, Gene Hackman played the guy, and they
Mhm.
added alcoholism and beating to it. It was all made up, but the basketball thing was real.
Yeah.
That's
So
relevant, yeah.
you can see here are pictures of Indiana University basketball.
Mhm.
That's where
Picture
we
those,
both went to
and
college.
we'll be talking about
Mhm.
them in a
Yeah.
moment. And then
Mhm.
there's the car, the Indy
Oh yes.
500 cars are shown here
Mhm.
on the screen. And then, of
Mhm.
course, we are known for cornfields. We're a very high producer of corn
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. And a place that is kind of near and dear to both of us is
Mm-hmm.
Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana, which is at the kind of the southern portion of Indiana. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a nonprofit, family-owned amusement
Okay.
and it's been
Wow.
voted the #1 cleanest park in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work there,
Uh-huh.
and we used to live there. We used to live in Christmas Lake Village in Santa Claus, Indiana.
And one interesting thing about Santa Claus, Indiana, it's one of the 3 or 4 places in the world where when children send letters to Santa Claus, it,
Uh-huh.
they come to our post office from all over the world. Now there's one in England, no, there's one in Finland, I think, or
Uh-huh.
Sweden. Also North Pole, Alaska gets
Mm-hmm.
thousands of letters,
Mm-hmm.
and we will get 3 or 4, thousands of letters from even Japan and
Wow.
Czech and from all over the world. And in my show as a comedian, I tell people that, and then I say we burn them, and people get mad at me because
Okay.
it's a terrible joke. But yeah, they answered all they can. But yeah, that's one of the most famous things that we get all these thousands of letters a year.
So
This is amazing. Wow.
just to kind of clarify too, so I'm here on a Fulbright, and
Mm-hmm.
this is my husband, and he is a comedian,
Oh
and
yeah,
we're here together
there's always that.
experiencing the
There's
Fulbright.
always has to be a disclaimer
I
when I'm
know.
involved, so people won't get mad.
No, that they know that you're a comedian, I think is
I
important.
work mostly cruises right now as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever taken a cruise before?
I haven't, but I would love to one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Viking river cruises are big here, and of course,
Uh-huh.
I work
Uh-huh.
for Carnival Cruise Lines and
Mm-hmm.
Celebrity. And while we
Mm-hmm.
were here, I flew to Greece and got on a
Mm-hmm.
ship for 10 days. And I was in a lot of countries. Then I flew to Spain, was on a ship for 5 or 6 days, and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
We flew
And
back.
so as a comedian, do you just like do stand-ups or do you do
Well,
performances?
well, as far as a comedian, I just do
Uh-huh.
stand up. But I
Okay.
also, for everybody out there who likes Christmas and Hanukkah, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to sell I have a Christmas and Hanukkah album out called
Okay.
Confectionist Carol that you can get on any music platform. So there
Nice.
you go, buddy,
Okay.
Confectionist Carol. And I also have a
Thank you.
Halloween album out.
Mhm.
And in Edinburgh every year now, my partner and I do a Halloween musical in
Hmm.
Edinburgh. But mostly for money, I'm a stand-up comedian.
Hmm. That's very cool.
I'm a professor.
She's a professor.
Okay.
That's about all I have to say about that. All right, so here is Indiana.
Hmm.
Here's the map of all of the colleges and
Hmm.
universities in the state, and you can see here this is the southernmost portion where we have University of Evansville
Hmm.
and Southern Indiana University, and
Hmm.
then we border with Kentucky, which is where we now live. But we both went to Indiana University, which is an institution here.
Hmm.
Sorry, here. This is the
IU
This is
Southeast.
IU Southeast,
Yeah.
which is really close to Louisville. And then you can see Indianapolis, which is the capital of the state, is right in here. Rose-Hulman, Indiana State University are over in this region, and Wabash, Purdue.
Purdue is over here, but now Purdue and Indiana University are the biggest rivals. We're always
Okay.
fighting. Yes,
Hmm.
and I grew up right near Notre Dame. It's hard
Oh,
to see it
sorry.
on there, but
Mhm.
you've probably heard of Notre
Right
Dame
here.
University. So I grew up near Notre Dame, always knowing I was never smart enough to go to Notre Dame. So that was
Really?
yes.
I have to say, we currently have one Czech student at Rose-Hulman
Oh,
University,
Yeah.
and he's studying space engineering, and he's
oh my
really
goodness.
happy there. So if you guys are thinking about Rose-Hulman, I'll be happy to connect you, students who are watching us. So
It
yeah,
is
that
an
would be cool.
incredible. It is
Hmm.
an incredible school.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Awesome.
we'll start with our alma mater, as we call
Hmm.
it, as a place that we graduated from. I have
Hmm.
all 3 of my degrees from there, and Brad has his first degree from
Yeah,
there.
my master's
Hmm.
was at Western Kentucky University.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
your bachelor's was in,
My bachelor's was in theater with kind of a minor in sociology.
and my
Lovely.
bachelor's degree was mathematics education and
Mm-hmm.
so was my master's and my doctoral degree. My doctoral degree, I had a minor in gifted education as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the university itself is a beautiful institution. It is a huge campus.
Mm-hmm.
It is part of the Big Ten. And
Mm-hmm.
it has some of the, as I was researching and putting together things that, what does the web say? It's really known for environmental policy, social psychology, music. It's one of the #1 schools for music.
I think it is the #1 school for music in the world, especially training solo artists in
Mm-hmm.
many different ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In several #1 rankings and top 10 nationally.
Mm-hmm.
They're known for being very innovative. Like during the pandemic, for example,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things not on the slide, but our daughter is there right now. She during the fall of 20 was her first semester, and she's been there for going on 2.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And Indiana University was one of the premier testing and vaccination studies.
I think the Pfizer vaccine, I think, was through IU.
So just some really incredible things, just being responsive to culture and needs of society, but also being innovative, like having the nation's first informatics school. So that's something that's really interesting too. When our daughter was deciding where she wanted to go to school, we looked at about 50 different institutions across the states. And she really loved the campus and loved that we went there. That was a connection, but loved their sciences, also the opportunities through the sciences. But the town is a very good college town and has a lot of downtown, really good energy to the town that it's in.
They also love all orientations of people, very diverse. You will be accepted there, and you have a group, no matter who you are or what you look like or what you believe or what you do with yourself. They're so open to all of those things.
And they have a lot of dorms that are dedicated for learning communities. That's what I was looking for. And you can find a learning community for just about anything, from recreation to what you want to study to a hobby. So it's really great. Yeah.
They also love international students. So anybody who wants to go to Indiana University, look into it, because they truly, truly love people from all over the world, especially here.
That's great.
More than Rose Holman. No, I'm just kidding.
It is an institution. I know that a lot of people, and this is this way in the States a little bit too, but students have aspirations, really good students have aspirations of going to an Ivy League school. And Ivy League schools are incredibly competitive to get into. But there's so many other schools and colleges and universities that are incredible. One thing about Indiana University that we found in our research too, when Darby was going to go there, was that it's known as a public Ivy institution. And there's a list of a few schools that are part of that too, which is a very interesting aspect.
And just as far as life as a college student, I think Indiana University, I would say, not that I went to an Ivy League school, but I would say you would find your people, your place, and the town and the school so much more comforting than if you were, at Cornell or something. Maybe not, but I think so.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah, and Mother Bear's Pizza, it says at the bottom.
Basketball and football, they have every sporting event, and but basketball and football are, things that students tend to like to go to those games, get involved in school spirit. They're Indiana University Hoosiers. They don't have a mascot though. They're just it's one of the few institutions that doesn't actually have a mascot. There's a little 500 bicycle race that they're known for, which the fraternities and sororities, men and women, both have a team that they can enter, but it doesn't have to be just the fraternities and sororities.
I highly recommend the 1973 film Breaking Away.
Okay.
Now, Bloomington doesn't look much like that anymore because it's updated so much. but it is about some people that live in the town that get to then be in the bike race. And, you know, 'cause they had this made up rivalry between the town people and the college people, which isn't really a thing, but everyone go see it.
Awesome. My question would be, you said that there is a big basketball and football. So is Indiana University a Division I school
Yes.
or yes?
They're also
Okay.
soccer. They're they've won the soccer NCAA 10, 12 times in the last 20 some years. Football.
Our yeah.
I
Czech
thought you said
football.
soccer. Who says soccer over here?
So I think it's a mix, but
I think you know what soccer
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
And of course, the food. There's a lot of unique restaurants in Washington.
Yeah.
So our number one rival is Purdue University, West Lafayette. It's part of the Big Ten as well. It's at the northern left-hand northwest corner, West Lafayette. It has an expertise in educating engineers. I have a family that has 4 boys and all cousins that all went to Purdue University for engineering, and they're all different kinds of engineers.
And my best friend, all 5 of his kids went there.
Yeah.
And
okay.
4 of them will go through engineering.
Yeah. So it's
of some sort.
It's a very incredible school for the sciences as well. We have a good friend that went there for zoology, and it's just a leading institution for STEM related fields. It also has a great gifted education for master's level and beyond education. It's, you can see here, it's, ranked really well, really highly among the United States schools. And their mascot, they actually have a mascot. It's the Boilermaker. I don't have a picture of him here, but he's
just a guy that builds boilers.
Okay.
That's what they were known for a million years ago, was they built boilers. And also, interesting fact, one of my friends from high school who I graduated with is the female basketball coach. She is in the nation, one of the top female basketball coaches. And she won't take my calls now, but
okay.
So that's Purdue University. And then we are spotlighting one other institution among a combination of things, but Notre Dame University, also in northern Indiana, close to where Brad is from, really close, Mishawaka, South Bend area. And it is close to being an Ivy League school, but it is not considered part of the Ivy League. It is an acceptance rate, it's pretty competitive to get into, like admission. You have at the bottom there, you have to have stellar SAT, near perfect grades, or ACT would also be, near ACT is what we do in the States, and 5 to 10% top part of your class. It is a Catholic-based institution. It's known for their business school, architecture, and they have undergraduate and graduate programs. I thought this was really great to know. It has one of the most decorated faculty in the nation. And that to me really speaks highly about, and they're that Fighting Irish too, which is, I think, is the Irish Catholic background. And other majors: business, law, writing, publishing, journalism, medicine.
Now, obviously, you don't have to be Catholic to go there. They want all faiths and everything, but you do have to take Catholic classes. You have to take, and no matter who you are, what you believe or don't believe, you have to take some sort of Catholic classes. Also, an interesting thing to note, since I grew up in that town, the difference between like Purdue and IU and Notre Dame, at IU and Purdue, the university pretty much dwarfs everything in the town. I mean, it's a big university and a small town. Like Purdue, it's not a big town, it's a college town. Notre Dame is a campus in the middle of a much larger area. So when you're on campus, you're on campus. And when you're off campus, it's not, you're in a town. You know what I mean? It's like it's like, maybe Charles here. Everybody in Prague isn't thinking Charles all the time. And when you're not there or at the university, you're doing something else.
But there is a difference, though.
Yeah.
Charles University, the buildings are all spread out.
That's true.
Exactly.
Major
Yeah.
city
No,
of
these are all
Prague.
all of these
Yeah.
are campuses
Yeah.
where living there on any of these campuses, you're at
You're on
college
campus.
all the
You know
time,
when you're on and when you're off campus.
which
Very
is fun to
Yeah.
have,
And it
I
helps.
actually enjoyed it too, like that campus life and being on campus and having everything there, because being an international student, I didn't have any car. So for me, it was very convenient to have everything accessible on campus. So yeah,
Oh.
No, where were
did
you?
you go to
Where
school?
were you?
I was in Pennsylvania. I was at Moravian University.
Oh, Moravian. Oh, that's
fun.
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
really, one thing, college is in the United States, it's 4 years of your life where you are somewhere and you're part of something and everybody's there doing the same thing. And because I took a semester and I went home and went to the little offshoot school at IU. And I hated it because suddenly I was just going to classes. I wasn't part of this entire collective
And
and community. And that's one thing great about all these schools, like Moravia and all these other schools. Yeah.
Well, look at you. You're wearing even everything Indiana. So you
And
really
you know what? We still do. Well, because we're still so connected with universities, I bet I wear a university thing every day, almost. Yeah.
And that's the thing too about Purdue, IU, Notre Dame, and some of the institutions we'll talk about. School spirit is incredible, and
For the rest of your life.
yeah, and you're just really proud of the degree. You're proud of having gone there. You're proud of having been part of the school spirit, and it's a real thing. Like our daughter said, she never really knew and felt school spirit until she went to IU and was really just engaged and proud of being part of that.
But in fact, she doesn't want to do anything international because she's just like, why would I leave this camp? She's been a lot of places internationally, first of all. So she's like, I've been to a lot of places. Why would I leave this community in these 4 years when there's so much I want to be involved in?
I have to second that, because I feel that this is typical for the US, that they make you feel, like a family on that campus, and they do such a good job with alumni. And even though I was an exchange student in Pennsylvania, I still feel much more connected to Moravian University, where I only spend very little time compared to what I spent in the Czech Republic at Palacký University. But I still I am so proud of that Moravian experience, and I feel that I'm even prouder about that than my Czech university. So they really do such a good job with alumni network and with connecting with people and so forth. So I really second what you just said. Yeah.
Should have looked into the IU alumni group here. I can't believe we didn't, because there is one. There's an and you get fundraising emails for the rest of your life. They want money forever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Even though those are three of our favorite institutions, or maybe I should say the most well-known institutions kind of on our radar, there's some others that are incredible institutions, and I'm just always excited to promote higher education and just the diversity that's out there for great education. Let's just start in the upper left-hand corner. I know Brad knows a little bit more about this one probably, but we have St. Mary of the Woods College in Indiana.
Notre Dame too. Yes, it's right. It's right there next to Notre Dame. Yes.
And it's a private institution, small. I had a former student that went there and just absolutely loved it and just flourished there as a female. It's a all-female institution, or it used to be.
No, I think it's not, because a lot of times what people do is, if they're on the waiting list for Notre Dame, they'll go to St. Mary's, and then hopefully in a year they'll get to move on to Notre Dame. And some are fine at St. Mary's. They're like, no, heck, it's great. I'm happy here.
So we have Butler University, which
Tremendous.
we know a little bit more about Butler University It is in the Indianapolis area, so right in the capital city, which is a great feature of Butler. Butler, there's bulldogs, and they actually have a bulldog that they always have as a live bulldog that's groomed and kept, and shows up at basketball games and graduation and everything. There's a whole TV show about this dog on Netflix. But this institution, my niece went there. Our niece went there, and she did nurse practice.
She's a PA, physician's assistant.
Yes, I was like, as an undergrad, and then she went on to a different institution for her graduate work. Yeah. But it is a private institution, so it's the cost is more than a public institution typically. It has its own campus, and it does have a little bit of its own town built around it, which is nice. It has a really beautiful campus and a huge stadium that is used in a lot of movies like Hoosiers for the basketball stadium, because the basketball stadium is incredibly uniquely designed. So it's another feature.
Wabash is all boys, and I still will be. And a friend of ours is a professor there, and Strong University if you're a guy, and University of Indianapolis. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Where is that? University of Indianapolis. So I know a little bit more about that institution. It is also a private institution right in the city. It's a beautiful campus as well, and has a lot of really it's a newer feel to the campus versus like Butler and IU and Purdue that have a little bit of an older legacy. So 1902, I guess, is when they were established, but they have a lot of new buildings on campus. Franklin College, I don't know as much about that. Do you know very much about that?
No, that or Marian University, I know nothing about.
Marian and Franklin, these two on right here, they're both, Marian is Catholic and Franklin is Christian, but they're in the kind of close, and Marian is in Indianapolis, but they're both private institutions with great reputations. Rose Holman, you mentioned earlier. Our daughter has a friend that went to school there, and we have a family friend that went there, and it is really known for, if you want an outstanding small technical institution, but a 4-year degree. I have my cousin's daughter went to school there too, and it's really for brilliant people that want a smaller experience. It has its own campus as well. It's
Computers,
in the city of Terre Haute.
Programming, engineering. Yeah. Well, in Indiana State's in Terre Haute.
Yeah. Too. So the one over here is in Terre Haute as well.
That's where Larry Bird went.
Yes. He played for the Boston Celtics, and he was a basketball player. And those two, so that would be one of the state institutions is ISU, Indiana State University. They're the Sycamores. And kind of we'll go to University of Southern Indiana. This is close to it's in Evansville, Indiana. So it's close to the Kentucky border, where once you cross the border, you'll be in like Henderson or Owensboro, depending on what part of the border you're on. But USI is what they're known for, the Screaming Eagles. And they have, it's a kind of, they're not Division I. I think they're maybe Division II.
Yeah. Liberal arts. They've gotten bigger though.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, they have tripled in size and campus.
And they're on the west side of Evansville. The last institution we know just a little bit more about. My sister went to school at University of Evansville, and my niece went there for a time. And we also, Brad and I went to Harlexton. I did I taught a semester abroad in England, and University of Evansville was the sister institution that owns Harlexton College. And so if you go to University of Evansville or one of these institutions that has that connection, you can study in England and live in a castle for a semester, which is what we did. And that's really a neat part of University of Evansville's legacy. They have a great program for engineering, and they're also really known for their arts. They have University of Evansville has the graduate that played Freddie Mercury in the Queen
Rami
movie.
Malek.
Rami Malek, yeah, is graduated from U of E. Other famous people from IU.
Kevin Kline, if you remember Kevin Kline, In and Out, all his movies.
What about the
Fish Called Wanda?
That was from IU where we went. The girl, the lady from the mother of the Edward Cullen, the Cullen mother, graduated from IU.
Yes. Mark Cuban, billionaire Mark Cuban, of course, went to. Also, my grandmother was one of the first women when they let women graduate from the business school, finally go to the business school in the 1920s. My grandmother was one of the first graduates of the business school. It wasn't the Kelly Business School at the time, but which it is now. There's too many famous people to mention.
But that's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah.
So that's pretty much I think what we have prepared for Indiana. So is there anything else that you think we should talk about?
Just want us to ramble on about Indiana for
No, I really think this was amazing. Thank you so much for taking me and Czech students on a virtual tour through Indiana. Thank you for introducing the schools, and you guys who will be watching, who are watching, please, if you have any further questions, you can type them underneath the live stream. You can reach out to me via email or social media, EducationUSA Czech. And if you have any questions for Janet or Brett, please let me know. I'll be happy to forward them to them, and they can help, they can connect. And even for graduate studies, I know I'm dealing with mostly undergrad, but if there are any graduate students looking into Indiana options, please let me know, and I'll be happy to connect you with the right guys.
And if you do go to Indiana, in my hometown of Mishawaka, my parents own a restaurant. You can go eat.
Awesome.
Doc Pearson's. Look it up.
Okay, perfect. Brad, Janet, thank you so much. And you guys, please put Indiana schools on your college list.
All right, thank you. Good luck, everyone.